Our sportsNOLA.com trivia question has sparked a lot of discussion here among our hosts. How many Heisman Trophy winners have gone on to play for the New Orleans Saints? I want to spit it out, but I got to let the screen tell you all about it. 6, there they are. Earl Campbell, George Rogers, Danny Werfel, Ricky Williams, Reggie Bush, and Mark Ingram. So 6 were the answer. Of course, Paul Hornung was picked by the Saints in the expansion draft, but he never played it down for the team. So 6 who played, and that was the phrase, who played for the New Orleans Saints. So 6 Heisman Trophy winners in varying degrees of success with the Saints in the process. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv. It is time now for our hot seat segment where we place Brian Ellie Walsh on the hot seat with a hot topic of the day. The college football playoffs are beckoning. Everybody knows that Alabama is the team to beat. Everybody knows that they could lose a game and still get in. Hey, they might be able to lose 2 and still get in. Question, who is best equipped to beat Alabama in the playoffs down the road? Brian Ellie Walsh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan, as always. Great provocative question here. I've got 2 answers, and I'll save my final answer till the end. All right, my final answer. My answer is this, simply. You know who can beat Alabama? Alabama. Because that's how strong a team they are. There is no team equipped to beat Alabama. Yeah, in a one-game format with a 30-day, 35-day break, okay, there probably is, all right? But given the strength of the Alabama team, I don't see any team beating them, even with a 35-day break, even with an Urban Meyer coach in Ohio State, okay? I think Alabama has everything it takes, and especially with Jalen Hurts as that quarterback now, even though he's young, okay, and he doesn't always make great decisions, he's good enough to have this team go undefeated, and I predict that they will. Now, here's my other point, is that here's what I'd like to see. Here's who I'd like to see them play. I don't want to see them play Michigan. I don't want to see them play Clemson again, okay? I don't want to see them play Washington. I want them to play Ohio State, because I think of all the teams, Ohio State might be the team that could beat Alabama for a couple of reasons. Is they've got a quarterback and they've got an offense that can spread it out and make that team make plays. If you can spread them out, because you're not going to beat Alabama in the trenches. There is no college team that's going to beat them in the trenches. All right, but if you spread their defense out and you've got a quarterback that can run and throw, as Deshaun Watson did last year, it was a 45-40 game. I just don't want to see that repeat again, okay? Ohio State, Alabama, I'll take Alabama against the field.
I mean, they're going to have to play one of them. I mean, Clemson or Alabama are going to have to play. Alabama will have to play Ohio State or Clemson.
Yeah.
So I think that both of those teams give them a good game. But I think Ohio State maybe give them a better game than Clemson, because Pitt showed me that Clemson is not that strong on defense. So, I mean, for them to put up that many points on Clemson, that means that Ohio State and Alabama is better than them. And I look at Michigan. Michigan lost their quarterback, and they just didn't look the same. I mean, looking at that game, Harbaugh was struggling to win the ball game, so they didn't look that strong last week.
You know, I like Michigan too. I don't like their quarterback, and I think you need a mobile quarterback who can beat you running and throwing, and he's not the guy, okay? But I would like to see Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh, okay? Now that would be worth the price of admission. That'd be worth watching that one.
Yeah, but I don't think that Harbaugh team can stand up to Nick this year.
I agree.
And got a good defense.
Yeah.
I give him a good credit. Got a good front four, got a good defense, but Alabama's just way in the echelon of better college football.
What say you?
I say this is a good discussion, and you guys have come up with some good teams there to speak about, but I'll talk about teams that you haven't talked about at all. So when I look at Alabama and who's been able to have success against them, Utah in the Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl, Clemson last year, although they lost, Ole Miss, who beat them 2 straight years, wide open offenses, lots of athletes and weapons, typically speaking, a special person at quarterback that can make plays. I think that's imperative. As I look at the landscape right now and who's playing well and who's capable, Well, the quarterbacks that come to mind, Deshaun Watson was mentioned, obviously, but Lamar Jackson has been the best player in college football, and he could hurt Alabama's defense. Louisville could score on Alabama, but Louisville might not get there. We'll see. Bottom line is that this thing's wide open as we speak. One team that could get there, that absolutely could give Alabama fits, is Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield is playing tremendous football at quarterback as we speak. It is a hot team playing well at the right time, which is a large part of this. They lost to Houston early in the year when Houston was playing well. Oklahoma has really turned it on, and they're playing outstanding football. And they have a coach that's used to being in that situation. And they've beaten Alabama in the postseason before and ran up huge numbers against them in the Sugar Bowl. Now you will hear, and you've heard it before, when Alabama doesn't have quote-unquote anything to play for, they're not the same team. You want to buy into that? I understand that. The bottom line is you're still playing a football game in the postseason on the field. Bottom line is I think Oklahoma's playing well enough right now, offensively, to give Alabama trouble. Plus, they're good enough defensively, and I left that out too because when you talk about teams like Louisville or Clemson and people like this, they're not going to be good enough defensively to contend with Alabama. Ohio State would be. Michigan would be. But are they good enough offensively to hurt Alabama? I don't see it. You've got to be able to hurt them offensively. Ole Miss scored 43 on them this year, and they lost the game because their defense isn't any good this year. It's that simple. So to me, I don't think anybody's going to beat Alabama. I think Alabama's going to win another national championship. But the one team at this point in time that I believe would give them the most trouble would be Boomer Sooner. When we return in just a moment, we'll talk more of college football as Sports NOLA TV continues.